It wasn't that long ago that looking for something online felt a lot like sending a telegram.
Oh, definitely. Like stripping away all normal human grammar.
Right, exactly. You just sit down at a keyboard and punch out these, totally robotic clipped phrases like weather deli.
Or shoe store hours.
Yeah, best restaurant near me.
Yeah.
You had to speak the machine's language to get what you wanted.
But today, the machine speaks yours.
Exactly. And welcome to the deep dive, by the way. Our mission today is exploring this massive shift based on our source material on voice search SEO in 2026. Because if your website isn't fluent in actual human conversation by 2026, you're going to become invisible to the people trying to find you.
We're basically looking at a fundamental rewiring of user behavior here. For years, digital marketers optimized for this, highly visual text-based interaction. But now the interface is just disappearing entirely. People are bypassing the screen and the keyboard to just talk to the room.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because understanding voice search SEO in 2026 isn't just about, tweaking a few keywords. It's an absolute survival metric.
It really is.
If you want to capture traffic today, we have to understand why you and me and everyone else is changing how we search.
Right. So the shift is driven by this compounding effect. Our source lays out 5 key drivers, starting with just the sheer friction of the keyboard.
Because typing is slow.
Literally. The average person speaks around, 150 words a minute? But types maybe 40 words a minute on a tiny mobile glass screen.
Yeah, if they're lucky and don't make typos.
Exactly. So you combine that desire for convenience with universal smartphone usage. The hardware for voice search is just always within arm's reach.
Or not even arm's reach. It's ambient now.
Yes, the smart devices everywhere.
Right, smart speakers sitting on the kitchen counter, or it's integrated into your car dashboard, or, embedded right in your smartwatch. The microphone is always listening.
Which completely changes the context of when a search actually happens. It's the hands-free element.
Oh, totally. Think about that classic multitasking scenario. You're in the middle of baking, right?
I don't know where this is going.
Your hands are just completely covered in flour, your elbows deep in dough, and you suddenly realize you don't know the conversion for ounces to grams.
Right.
You're not going to wash your hands, dry them off, find your phone, unlock it, and type that in. You just yell the question across the kitchen.
It's like finally just making a phone call to a remarkably smart librarian standing in the corner of the room.
That is the perfect analogy. But that librarian analogy only works now because of the 5th driver, right? Natural language processing.
Yeah, NLP. Because 5 years ago, if you yelled across the room, the AI was just doing brute force keyword matching.
Just heard ounces, grams, and flour.
Right, and it essentially ran a standard text search in the background. But today's NLP models are semantic. They actually map the relationships between words to understand intent.
The context of it all.
Exactly, the nuance. The AI understands that a question yelled with flour-covered hands requires a direct, immediate numerical conversion, not like a Wikipedia article on the history of the metric system.
So the hardware is ambient, the behavioral friction is gone, and the AI finally understands conversational context.
Which perfectly explains the massive adoption rate we're seeing.
Right. But here's the critical pivot for anyone managing a digital presence. Since how we search has evolved from typing those clipped caveman-style telegrams to speaking in full flowing sentences.
The actual content we create has to change structurally.
Yes. The structure of the query fundamentally changes when it leaves the keyboard.
Voice searches are just inherently longer, they're more conversational, and they rely really heavily on interrogative words.
The who, what, where, when, why, and how.
Exactly. We're moving from a landscape dominated by short-tail keywords to one built almost entirely on conversational long-tail queries.
Let's look at the data from the source on how those queries actually contrast in the real world. Say you are targeting a local service, like a newborn photographer in Delhi.
Okay.
A type search is going to look like best newborn photographer Delhi. It's just a string of nouns and adjectives.
Very robotic.
Right. But the voice search equivalent is a complete thought. Somebody says, who is the best newborn photographer near me?
Or take a B2B example. Typed search is, digital marketing consultant Delhi, but the voice search is, which digital marketing consultant in Delhi can help me generate leads?
Wait, I have to push back on this strategy, though.
Okay, lay it on me.
Because traditional SEO logic, like the playbook we've literally all used for a decade, dictates that you target the keywords with the highest search volume.
Right?
So if you start pivoting your content to target these super specific conversational paragraph-long phrases, aren't you intentionally targeting searches with a drastically lower overall volume. Is that a bad thing?
Well, what's fascinating here is the relationship between search volume and intent clarity.
Okay, tell me more.
You are totally correct that the raw aggregate search volume for a highly specific long-tail voice query will be lower than a broad two-word keyword.
Obviously, yeah.
However, the conversion probability of that long-tail traffic is exponentially higher.
Oh, because you've stripped away the ambiguity.
Precisely. It's the exact opposite of the old spray and pray SEO approach. Think about it. When someone types digital marketing, they could be a student looking for a definition.
Or a competitor looking at the landscape.
Or maybe a buyer. The intent is just really muddy.
Right.
But when someone asks a voice assistant, which digital marketing consultant in Delhi can help me generate leads?
Yeah.
The intent is crystal clear.
They know exactly what they want. They're at the bottom of the funnel.
Exactly. By optimizing for these conversational queries, you capture highly qualified traffic that your competitors, who are, still obsessed with broad, high-volume vanity metrics, are completely missing.
You're trading a massive pool of low-intent browsers for a smaller, highly concentrated pool of immediate buyers.
You are capturing the user at the exact moment of decision.
Wow. But that brings up a massive technical hurdle. How do the voice assistants actually select the winner?
That is the million-dollar question.
Because the dynamic of the search results page is entirely different now. If I type a query into a browser, I get a page with 10 blue links, ads, maybe a knowledge graph. I have choices.
Right.
But if I ask my smart speaker a question, it doesn't read me a list of 10 options. It just gives me one single answer.
Welcome to the zero-click game.
Zero click.
Yeah. In voice search, being on page 1 isn't enough anymore. You have to be in position 0. To win that single spoken response, you have to engineer your content to be pulled into a featured snippet.
Okay, so the voice assistant algorithm is essentially designed to look at the search results, find the featured snippet, extract the text, and read it aloud.
Exactly. That's the mechanics of voice answers.
We all know featured snippets. They're those highlighted boxes of text at the very top of a desktop search.
Right, but the mechanics of how an NLP algorithm actually parses a page to build that snippet is where the real optimization happens. It's not just about writing good content anymore.
It's about structural formatting.
Yes, the NLP models are scanning your HTML for very specific signals. They're looking for a clear interrogative header.
Like an H2 or H3 tag.
Exactly, a tag that poses the exact question the user just asked. And then, immediately following that header, the algorithm wants a standard paragraph tag containing a concise, definitive answer.
And the source document gives a very rigid sweet spot for that answer.
It does. It needs to be between 40 and 60 words.
40 to 60 words. It's literally an elevator pitch for an algorithm.
That's a great way to put it.
You have exactly a 40 to 60 word window to prove to the AI that your paragraph is the most efficient answer on the entire internet before the elevator doors open.
Let's apply this to that newborn photography example from earlier. If the voice query is, what is the best age for newborn photography? And your website responds with this, beautiful, sprawling 500-word introduction about the magic of childhood.
Before getting to the actual time frame.
Yeah. The AI is just going to bounce. It cannot process that into a quick audio response.
Because the algorithm doesn't have the capacity to summarize your essay on the fly with total confidence.
Right. It needs you to do the summarization for it.
So if you structure an FAQ page where the H2 is, what is the best age for newborn photography? And the immediate text below it is, and this is straight from the text example, the best age for newborn photography is between 5 and 14 days after birth because babies sleep deeply and can be posed safely.
Yes. That is exactly what the machine needs. It's perfectly under 60 words.
It directly addresses the query.
And the syntax is incredibly easy to convert from text to speech.
It makes it incredibly easy for the AI to choose your site to read aloud. You're essentially writing the script for the AI.
You really are. You use structured content, headings, bullet points, and concise declarative sentences to remove any cognitive load from the parsing algorithm.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Delivering a quick 40-word answer is fantastic for general knowledge like photography tips or converting ounces to grams.
Right. It builds authority.
But what happens when the user needs a physical service right now? Because voice search is disproportionately local.
Oh, the stakes get infinitely higher. The proximity factor changes the entire routing of the search.
When a user asks a smart device, best dentist near me, or coffee shop open now, or, interior designer near me.
The search engine recognizes the spatial intent. It actively bypasses standard organic web page indexing altogether.
Wait, really? It bypasses the normal web search?
Yes, it queries the local Maps API and Google Business Profiles directly.
So the standard organic website takes a backseat to the business profile entity.
Exactly. For spatial query, the search engine assumes your primary requirement is proximity, followed immediately by your operating hours and your reviews.
That makes sense. Because someone asking a voice assistant, where can I find a newborn photographer near me, isn't just browsing casually.
No, they are in the decision-making stage. They are looking to navigate to a location or book a service soon.
The conversion velocity on these near-me queries is just staggering. They are quite literally asking the machine where to spend their money today.
Which leads directly to phone calls, website inquiries, and appointment bookings.
Which means local SEO for voice isn't just about keyword density on a service page. It's about the hygiene of your data ecosystem, right?
Absolutely. If your Google Business Profile has a conflicting phone number or, if your operating hours aren't updated for a holiday.
The AI will completely filter you out.
Yes. It cannot risk sending a user to a closed business. So consistent NFP data name, address, phone number, and a steady stream of positive reviews are your primary ranking factors for local voice queries.
Okay, so we need to pull all these strategic threads together into a cohesive technical foundation. You have the conversational keywords, the 40-word snippet structures, the localized business data.
But none of that matters if the underlying infrastructure of your website fails the technical thresholds demanded by voice search in 2026.
Right, because voice search is asynchronous, real-time audio interaction. The user expects the device to answer immediately.
Instantly. This means website speed isn't just a ranking signal anymore, it's a prerequisite for entry.
A latency of even 2 seconds on a mobile page load can just disqualify your site from being sourced for a voice answer. Right?
No, easily, because the search engine must be able to crawl, render, and extract the snippet in milliseconds. And furthermore, since the overwhelming majority of voice searches happen on phones, flawless mobile optimization is the baseline.
If your site is bloated with heavy code or elements that slow down the mobile crawl rate, the AI simply moves on to a faster competitor.
Exactly.
Okay, speed gets the AI to your site. But how does the search engine actually know what my business details, FAQs, or events are without just guessing from my paragraphs? Like, we know search engines are smart, but they still struggle to infer meaning from massive blocks of unstructured text.
Right, so that's where we have to talk about structured data or schema markup.
Schema markup. Yeah.
It is arguably the most critical technical implementation for voice search success. Think of standard HTML as telling the browser how to display information.
Make this bold, make this a header.
Right, but schema markup tells the search engine what that information actually means.
It spoon feeds the exact details.
Yes. It explicitly categorizes the data into nodes on a knowledge graph. Instead of letting the algorithm guess whether a string of digits is a phone number or a product code, you use schema to explicitly tag it.
Like, this is an event, here is the location, here's the time.
Exactly. This is an FAQ, here's the question, here's the answer. By injecting this structured data into your code, you eliminate all ambiguity.
You allow the search engine to pull your data into its own ecosystem with 100% confidence.
Which is exactly what it needs before it will read that data aloud to a human being.
You are literally spoon-feeding the knowledge graph. And if we look at the content strategy sitting on top of that technical foundation, it requires a total shift in editorial perspective.
You have to stop broadcasting marketing copy and start actively solving user problems.
Right. The architecture of your content should mirror the interrogative nature of the user's voice.
The FAQ section has evolved from like a customer service afterthought into the primary landing page for voice search.
Wow, yeah.
But it extends beyond just FAQs. Create problem-oriented content. A generic page titled Maternity Photoshoot Outfits performs terribly in voice search.
But a page titled, What Should I Wear for a Maternity Photoshoot?
That aligns perfectly with the user's spoken syntax.
It requires mapping the content directly to the user's psychological state.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, mastering voice SEO in 2026 requires understanding 3 distinct buckets of user intent.
Okay, let's break down those 3 buckets marketers must map content to.
The first bucket is informational intent. This is the top of the funnel. The user asks, what is newborn photography? Or how much does a digital marketing consultant cost?
They aren't ready to convert, they're just gathering data.
Right. Your goal here is to win the featured snippet with a highly structured 40-word definition. Establish your brand authority early.
Got it. What's the second bucket?
Navigational intent. The user knows the entity they want. They say, open Little Star Photography website or call the nearest marketing agency.
They want the assistant to act as a router.
Exactly. And this relies heavily on your brand's presence and knowledge panels and the cleanliness of your local business profile.
Which leads to the third and obviously most lucrative bucket, transactional intent.
Yes. Book a newborn photo shoot near me or order coffee for pickup.
This is where your mobile speed, your localized schema markup, and your high-intent long-tail keywords all converge.
The user is commanding the machine to execute a transaction on their behalf. If your ecosystem is fully optimized, you capture a customer who has bypassed the entire visual browsing process.
So what does this all mean?
It means a lot of work for all of us.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
To summarize this deep dive for you, the era of typing is making way for the era of talking. We are abandoning the clipped, rigid syntax of the keyboard for the natural, flowing context of human conversation.
And to survive, your digital presence must adapt.
You have to target conversational long-tail queries, answer questions clearly in structured 40 to 60-word formats that NLP algorithms can easily parse. And you must obsess over local SEO, site speed, and user intent to capture high-intent customers who are ready to take action.
You aren't just optimizing for a screen anymore. You are optimizing to be the smartest, most authoritative spoken voice in the room.
But
Yes. This raises an important question, something to really mull over.
light on us.
If voice assistants are reading your perfectly optimized 40-word answers out loud to the user is getting the answer they need.
Without ever actually looking at your website.
Exactly. They never see your logo. They don't experience your brand's colors or your design.
You win the answer, but the brand becomes invisible.
So how do you ensure your unique brand identity and your specific voice survive the translation process when an AI is literally doing the speaking for you? How do you build brand loyalty when the user thinks Siri or Google solved their problem rather than your business?
That is the defining challenge of the next decade of search. Finding a way to make your expertise so undeniable that the user asks for you by name. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a blast.
The next time you're in the kitchen, your hands are tied up, and you yell a question to the ambient machine sitting on the counter, really pay close attention to the exact phrases you use. Because that invisible exchange, that is the battleground for the future of information.